So I'm reading an excerpt from A Course in Miracles. Some of you guys know I'm a student teacher. I sat the course back in 2012, 2013, 2014, probably finished it around 2015. And I'm doing a review. I did a silent retreat last summer, and it just so happened that the journal I brought with me had a bunch of notes from A Course in Miracles. And I was like, oh my God, I need this in my life. Like, it's so profound. And I see all the connections with like manifestation, law of attraction, and then this is meant to be Christian text, channeled text by Jesus. That's what they say. That's how the story goes. But either way, there's some sort of fundamental, essential teachings, like wisdom teachings within the text, right? When you can put aside any resistance to certain types of language. But like straight up, sometimes I'll just open a page and trust that it's what I need. And the quiet answer, in quietness are all things answered, and is every problem quietly resolved. In conflict there can be no answer and no resolution, for its purpose is to make no resolution possible, and to ensure no answer will be plain. A problem set in conflict has no answer, for it is seen in different ways, and what would be an answer from one point of view is not an answer in another light. You are in conflict. So this is, to me anyway, speaking to things like Abraham, a lot of it, it's that it's one or the other. So we don't, manifest greater lightness and ease by worrying. If we're in worry, and we're manifesting more worry. However, I'm working with a coach at the minute, and we were kind of highlighting just the depth of like law of attraction and how we can often get hooked in by the inspirational quotes, or even the sales tactics of like, you create your own reality, you could have everything and anyone. And yet my experience, like on a spiritual level, that there is so much depth to that. And the reality, again, in my experience for the last 10, 15, 20 years even, if you, in earnest, set out to improve your life and manifest your dreams for one and all, you will end up healing ancestral karma, this is how I look at it. You're healing your own personal karma from multidimensional experiential states of beingness that you harbor in this consciousness. And then you're healing your ancestral lineage just because you're alive in this body and you chose your parents, and so you're going to be vibrating some of their genealogical information. So you're healing your lineage, you're healing your personal karma, and that kind of synergistically helps you to heal the line of your family. And after 20 years of a bit of like, I can firmly say familial healing does happen. People change, and rather miraculously, and yet we can understand it's through our own change. So I'm aware of finding long lost relatives. I'm aware of supporting and healing the connection with my own mother, and then having a connection with that broader familial. Even though I have a teeny family, it's like opening that heart space to continue that healing process and journey, right? Which at this point, I straight up legit yoga, meditation, breath work, all the tools, EFT. I just had a mentor sesh yesterday, so I'm refreshed, feeling good. All of these are like healing tools, healing modalities. And yet at the end of the day, it's ourselves in the present moment. The presence piece is just so, it's like the backbone of all of it, I swear to God. Like the backbone of true healing, of true shifting is just our presence. And I mean, I talk to this in my own book. That's, to me, what Eckhart talks about healing the pain body, to me, being as present as possible. Yes, it heals the pain body, but that's where those big emotional storms come out. Or that's where we can be like, ugly cry for, and I have to say, these can be processes like that are pretty long, long. As in, I remember my first conscious emotional storm, alchemical healing, was in Cambodia in 2013, where I saw a trigger and then like traced it, and then all this info started coming out of my body, and it was like a 2-hour just like and I was seeing, I was having flashbacks and images of Angkor Wat, like I was on a sacred site and this was like happening. And I knew that there was a revelatory shift after. A few years later, I kind of miraculously dropped a bunch of weight, and I just knew intuitively there's something in this, and this is shadow. Like I didn't know the psychological terms at the time when I wrote my book, but my book essentially is my own intuitive interpretation of shadow work, of how to heal the cellular body through emotional alchemy. And again, that can be done on your own, and that can be done just in the present moment through the light of your own awareness, with forgiveness, with compassion, with love. And then this is where it's like, it can often be quite radical. People misinterpret emotionality. And I guess that's part of why I'm still being called to discuss and talk about this stuff from just like a layman, commoner perspective of like not having a lot of resources necessarily, or support, or money, or, you know, all those layers of things, and navigating this world. That I'm gonna probably talk a little bit more about roots as well, and not my friend Roots, but a fellow YouTuber, but like metaphysical roots on this planet, and a groundedness of that rootedness. And I mean, it makes sense now, but when we're in hardcore survival mode, or when we don't have roots, we don't know we're not going to be able to function without it. We just think spirit's going to let us keep flying. and then you're like, oh yeah, you're a human, boss. You're like, how dare you let me fall, spirit? And they're like, you're the one who made that choice. And you're like, damn it. So, and I can honestly say, like, there was a while there where I was in such a stressed out survival mode vibratory. I can see it now in retrospect, 4 or 5 years. I see that pattern running its course, you could say. So unconscious pattern from childhood, survival mode. Part of that for me was just keep running. Pack up your Shazam and go. Pack up your Shazam and go. As in, when people betray you, or when shit hits the fan, or when you fuck up, or when you blah, 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 just go. And then it almost ran its course. And then I can remember making a decision to move, arriving in my new destination, and like heart sinking, knowing this isn't it. Like I've made a mistake. Intuition does not raise the proof. And yet, I can honestly say, on a bigger cosmic collective level, I swear to, because that to me was the beginning of the energetic pandemic. So I made that choice, and I could feel the collective energetics kind of start to like slow down, ground in, and they're like pulling us consciously back to review all this healing, all this alchemy, all of this. And then all these timelines start kind of converging and coalescing, and some start falling away. And we're very much still in that process, right, of allowing aspects of self to die, dissolve, go away. For example, that impulsivity for me personally, taking these impulsive leaps, which just loop you out back to yourself. We're like, why do that? Wasting time, what have you. And then none of it's really truly a waste, because it's all eternal and held, and I think it can all be valuable experiential information, right? So but yeah, I mean, a lot of that energy of you're gonna sit there, you're all gonna stay at your house, you're all grounded. Sort of like that, isn't it? No, because metaphysically you're all grounded, you're all gonna sit down, you're gonna clean your houses, do renos, and make gardens, and heal your familial relationships. It's like, you think you want that, but no. So now we're like getting to the other side, and I think there is that sense of stepping into this world with a greater wisdom and a greater awareness to support one another through the continual shifting. And that's something that I can, testify to, is that a big part of this, like I would say, final stages of healing for me in a cyclical sense with regards to family, which then connects to my own body, but also obviously connects to my recognition of how important roots are, how important my personal stability is. It's like, that's great. You want to help people out, but you're not going to help people when you're like stressed out survival mode, barely able to feed yourself, barely able to house yourself, with virtually nobody physically in your life that, like, you know, close by that can help. And here I am wanting to help the world. It's like, help yourself. It's like the thing of like putting, and this is all North Node Aries, Pluto Capricorn. It's like putting your face mask on and knowing and trusting that everyone else can also put their own face masks on, and you, and then those other functional adults, once you're face masked up, you can help other people that are less able. But if we forget, if we don't put that face, or don't have our own home, and we're thinking we want to provide homes for everybody, that just makes no logical sense. As in, what did the book just say? It was just right there. It's like, if we're in worry and anger, that's not having faith in people. Like, I want to have faith in people. I want to have faith that people are on their own healing journey, that people can look after themselves, that, you know, so... God, I swear to God, my morning, yes, hello, little bit of coffee addictions. And I'm also including in my own awareness, continuing to noodle in the conceptualization of our addictions as a human species. And I mean, to me, there's almost a complete polarity of reflective energy around like addiction and disconnection, or addiction and oppression, or addiction and enslavement, or it's almost like, and because I have my own and deal with my own, but like the addiction is almost like a hole in how we can be connected to ourselves. And yet, personally, I still believe there's a sense of, to really free ourselves, we have to be able to holistically love the completeness of who we are with that thing. It's like anyone who's gone through physical body transformation of weight loss or body gains and stuff, there is a sincere and earnest, repetitive, vigilant, resilient kind of commitment to truly believing and trusting and knowing that you can show up in a different way, right? Because the memory of the other is powerful. I'm still continuing to work on that, because to me as well, like, true freedom is freedom. It's not being bound to control the food or control this or control that. And yet I think there's a discernment in all of this, in the truth of the teachings. If we are the most powerful thing, if we are, then the power of this being trumps all of the physical manifest reality. But I'm still working with that, of how powerful is the individual versus the collective projection, as in, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, and then how that impacts one another, versus holding the vision of the light, seeing the truth of the healed state of the human consciousness, and knowing and trusting of a divine plan to rise everybody up and just let yourself be risen. I was, again, having chats with my coach yesterday, and it was like, what we giggled about it, and I forget now. Oh well. Anyway, but a bit of mumbo jumbo, but it wasn't. It's always useful, isn't it? I mean, having great friends and having those professional people in our lives that help us just reflect on things, you know, and having other people's perspectives or experiences, or again, reflections, to help us look at things in a different way, or see more, like, same thing, but like see more of ourselves. Like having somebody take your words and kind of go like, well, what's that? And what's that? And you're like, ooh, oh, Shazam, you know, like, I did not see that about me, or I didn't realize I was doing that, you know? It's wild how we can morph and change, and how our perspective changes. Like, just the last 2 days, I've been having all these like morphy feelings around, you know, things are happening, and then I'm just like, what is this feeling? Who are you? Like, and I kind of realized that it's like, no, this is more of the truth, and this is actually how you can be happier. And I mean, you could go back to your old way of being, but you know, if you think about that's what created this, that, and the other, why would you want to go back? And I look down at chapter 30, page 581, the new beginning. Yeah, new beginning. Today, I will make no decisions by myself. So the whole point is that I surrender my mind to God. I surrender, which is divinity, heaven, perfection, health, well-being, right? Like, so anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that little ramble sass. What was the other thing I say? Noodlesaurus. Have an awesome day, you guys. I really, really love and appreciate you. Let me know if that was useful to you. And have an awesome Wednesday. I'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Peace out.